Welcome back to our coverage of the American Song Contest. First, let me say this is the second half of our breakdown of the third qualifier. What that means is that we've covered half of the 56 songs. There have been a lot of country songs and a lot of pop songs, but when are we going to hear the most American genre of all, the barbershop quartet?
Coney Island, wash around a label.
If four guys get up there in matching vests and shimmer hats, I'm going to go ape. But in the meantime, I guess we should talk about Jewel.
Life can be so emotional for a girl in a lonely world.
America Vision has already brought us Michael Bolton representing Connecticut and Macy Gray repping Ohio, but Jewel may be the most impressive ringer yet. Her debut album, Pieces of You, was released in 1995 and went platinum 12 times over, helped in no small part by me buying it as a moody teenager. Its three singles, Who Will Save Your Soul, You Were Meant for Me, and Foolish Games will live on as long as karaoke endures. More recently, Jewel won Season 6 of The Masked Singer as the Queen of Hearts. She bested the likes of Rob Schneider, Vivica A. Fox, and Toni Braxton. Wait a second, Toni Braxton was eliminated in the second round before Rob Schneider? Ouch. There'll be no unbreaking her heart this time. Jewel actually has a connection to American Song Contest host Kelly Clarkson. Back in 2013, Kelly recorded a duet version of Foolish Games for Jewel's Greatest Hits album. So it's safe to say that Kelly is probably voting for Jewel. However, the moody 90s teenager in me is personally disappointed by her entry here. Jewel's great classics seize their space like chiffon-wrapped mountaintops. By contrast, the story starts by excusing itself as it peeks in through a rice curtain.
This is the part of the story where I'm gonna start. The scene opens on a girl with a broken heart.
You see, it's not, I want to tell you about this thing you once did with your coat. You took your coat off and stood in the rain. It's,
You took your coat off and stood in the rain.
since when does best-selling poet Jewel have to show her wind-up like 17-year-old Taylor Swift? I suppose that in America Vision, like Eurovision, more is more, and there's more Alaska than there is of any other US state. Still, it's hard to see this song as a finished product. Jewel is best when she cuts her music to the bone. After all, that's what she's been doing to my heart for all of these years.
You're breaking my heart. I know I'm not alone tonight.
For those of you who follow Eurovision, South Carolina's song here shares a title with Armenia's 2014 Eurovision song. You're not alone, oh yeah. That Not Alone finished fourth, tying for the country's best performance ever. And when Jesse explained in his opening package that his song is a tribute to his mom who lives with multiple sclerosis, we expected something similar in tone to Armenia's song. Slow, emotional, and tear-jerking. What we got was a whole lot of popping and locking.
There comes a time in your life that you gotta take a chance and make the sacrifice.
This was a high-energy, joyous song that we'd expect to see on a float at Mardi Gras or perhaps on a cruise ship. And the more we thought about it, the more we like a song that's a tribute to someone living with a chronic illness that is a celebration of life, rather than a mournful invocation of loss. And this 90s kid really appreciates Jesse giving us flashbacks to the Fly Girls from In Living Color.
'Cause what I need is a bad girl that's good for me.
South Dakota's Judd Hoos has something that no other competitor has, its own beer, thanks to its sponsor, the Remedy Brewing Company. Hoos Juice is an IPA described as packed with tons of hoppy and hazy deliciousness. This seems appropriate as the band is itself hoppy and hazy. If you're looking for a bad girl, what better place to go than the Badlands? Badlands National Park is run by the U.S. National Park Service and the Ogallala Lakota Sioux. It's the most famous place in the state by a country mile. It's the home of Mount Rushmore, the setting for much of Deadwood, and the subject of a 1980 Supreme Court decision that found it was wrongfully taken from the Sioux in violation of the Fort Laramie Treaty of 1868. Whoopsie! In Bad Girl, Judd Hoos knows something bad is good for him, and he doesn't know why. The singer seeks carefree indulgence. And maybe this idea would hit differently if they were young guys on spring break, but these are men in their mid-30s. They shouldn't be looking for a bad girl, they should be looking for a good woman, or at least like a stable job selling insurance. We're all for dad rock, but this is not an age-appropriate song. If these guys aren't careful, they're going to wake up on the wrong side of 40 with nothing to show for it but a battered leather jacket and a bunch of hoppy and hazy memories of bad girls who turned out not to be so good for them after all. But hey, when that day comes, at least they'll have a tasty IPA to keep them company. Here's a weird coincidence. On July 11th, 2021, Nitro Nitro released a retro roller skating music video. A few weeks later, Silk Sonic did the same thing. We're not saying Bruno Mars shamelessly ripped off Nitro Nitro, but we wouldn't blame him if he did. She makes those knee-high socks look good. But let's talk about her Americavision song, Train. Nitro Nitro sings about the most old-fashioned American thing the President of the United States himself did for decades of his life: take the train in Delaware.
It's my honor to introduce Amtrak's #1 commuter, Vice President-elect Joe Biden.
But it's hardly a nostalgic ode to Amtrak. Nitro Nitro serves up a hard-driving rock jam on the realities of America's public transit. Namely, that she is stuck on the train, that nobody can hear her cries, and that her attempts to get back home have been unsuccessful. We've all been there, at least those of you in the small parts of the USA with regular train service.
I hate trains.
Though maybe she's dissing trains for a reason. What if Nitro Nitro is an industry plant? From Big Nitrous. And nitrous doesn't work on trains. Or does it? I think I just wrote Fast and Furious 11.
But I know one thing is true. Sunsets and sea turtles came here together for you.
As the least known of the U.S. territories competing, the Northern Mariana Islands is perhaps the biggest underdog in Americavision, and I'm sure NBC was tempted to leave it out of the competition entirely. Including all 5 of the inhabited U.S. territories plus the District of Columbia means there are 56 entries in the competition, meaning that qualifier number 3 has 1 extra competitor, thus putting everyone performing tonight at a slight disadvantage. But to NBC's credit, they made room for the Northern Mariana Islands, and we're certainly glad they did. Sunsets mean a great deal to sea turtles. At night, adult green sea turtles move out to sea to sleep at the bottom of the ocean. Some return to the beach to lay their eggs under cover of darkness. But at sunset, a sea turtle in shallow water struck by sunlight at just the right angle will snooze. Take a light nap to conserve energy and to store up that juicy UVB radiation in the form of essential vitamin D3. It's science, and it's super cute. The tide moves in and out, the sun rises and sets, turtles come and turtles go, and in the midst of all these cycles, a perfect moment on the edge of night. But it's a bittersweet image because, according to the 2020 census, the population of the Mariana Islands was 47,329, down from 69,221 in 2000. Sabu's family is part of this trend. They left the islands when he was 12, and he's been based in Washington state ever since. But the song was lovely, and it would be really nice to see Sabu make it into the semis, maybe redirect some tourism back home.
With every breath, the chance is wasted if you don't chase it. That's why we're staying up tonight like crazy.
Riker Lynch was born in 1991 during the run of a little TV show called Star Trek: The Next Generation. We Googled long and hard to figure out if his unusual name was an homage to number 1 himself, William T. Riker. We didn't find any direct evidence, but we did find one of Riker Lynch's tweets from 2013 saying, "Going to see Star Trek tonight. So excited." I think that says it all, doesn't it?
You must be Commander Riker.
Riker's biggest claim to fame is coming in second on season 20 of Dancing with the Stars.
Very nice.
Apparently, only eventual winner Rumor Willis puts Riker in a corner. Based on its hoppin', boppin', backin' jams, Riker Lynch's Feel the Love appears to be a seduction song about a talking wolf hitting on a disinterested giraffe at the end of Zootopia.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Or perhaps Madagascar 3. This is definitely the end credits song for a children's film, right? We don't see this song as a top contender, but who knows? If all Riker's old Dancing with the Stars fans come out and vote, they could make it so number one.
To hope is to recognize the possibility. I had only dreams.
And finally, we have made it to the end of the third qualifier. At the end of the night, Tennessee got the jury vote. This reinforces our hypothesis from last time that the judges are just rewarding strong singers and not necessarily great songwriters. Our personal favorite this time around was the couple from Alabama, who had great voices, a sweet song, and the most romantic onstage kiss since the end of A Mighty Wind. Will that be enough to get them into the semifinals? We'll find out next week when we cover Qualifier 4 in, let's just say 8 videos. Get excited, people.